Listen, guys, when Deshaun Watson news and rumors breaks, we've got you covered here at the Browns Report by Chat Sports. So if you have not subscribed already, let's change that. Make sure you hit that big sub button. That way you stay in the know on the latest Deshaun Watson news. Plus, turn your notifications on so you never miss a breaking news story. Mike Florio, our friend at ProFootballTalk, believes a 2 to 8 game suspension could be a range where Deshaun Watson falls in. Matthew Peterson from Chat Sports here, and we've got a jam-packed show for you guys where we're going to go over the latest Deshaun Watson news and rumors roundup, kind of just collect everything from the internet and break it all down for you guys, because this is the first time I've seen the number 2 associated with a potential Watson suspension. So a lot to discuss. The latest Watson news really started yesterday when Charles Robinson from Yahoo tweeted this out saying, sources in the Watson case believe arbitrator Sue Robinson's decision could bump up against or even overlap with the first few days of Browns training camp, which starts July 26th, by the way. One opinion offered on the timeline is that she may be taking her time to give the league and Watson another shot at settling. Now, I don't know how much I really believe that last part, just because lawyers like to take their time. They love to read stuff, and she's got a lot to read here because no matter what decision she gives, people are going to be very upset about it, so she needs to present a formatted and explained decision on whatever that decision is. I personally think this is the latest chess piece being moved around the board between the NFLPA and the NFL, right? Where you've got both sides wanting to reach a settlement of some sorts, and the NFL not coming anywhere close to where the NFLPA is. Now, Charles Robinson followed up that tweet with this, saying, another note, if Watson ends up incurring the full-year suspension the NFL is seeking, either from the arbitrator or a league appeal of Robinson's decision, I'm told his camp and the NFLPA have already made the decision to file a lawsuit against the league in federal court. Now, there was some pushback on that from Watson's attorney, but let's go down that rabbit hole of could we see a potential lawsuit coming the NFL's way if Watson does get hit with a year-long suspension. Now, Josina Anderson tweeted this out today, which I thought tied in very nicely. I'm also told, as of this morning, Sue Robinson has provided no indication her decision is coming this week, so we'll continue to monitor. So that kind of feeds back to what Charles Robinson first started off saying is, could Robinson be going a little bit slow to get a settlement to happen because she does not want to be the one who draws the line in the sand of this is going to be the precedent. No, you guys figure it out on your own. I think this is the NFLPA putting a little bit of pressure on the NFL to settle with their side because they don't want, well, how about they? The NFL does not want this going to court. And the NFLPA knows that. So could they be trying to take some leverage here and push for a settlement, knowing if this were to go to court, the NFLPA is going to have a lot of dirty laundry to air on behalf of Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, Daniel Snyder, and a lot more that NFL owners and high-up officials have just swept under the rug and never had the personal conduct policy thrown at them like it should. We're going to look at that. But the original leaks, if you remember, reported that the NFL wanted to offer Watson a year-long indefinite suspension settlement. Why would Deshaun Watson take that, right? I think that was the NFL, their chess piece being moved of, hey, everyone, if Sue Robinson comes back with an 8-game suspension, don't get mad at us. We pushed for a year. Sorry, Robinson didn't agree with that. So that is, I think, that half of the chessboard, because it really feels like it's not even chess and checkers anymore. It's like Risk. It is just unbelievable trying to keep up with the leaks, intentional or not, and reading between the lines. But I think the latest development here is, could we see a settlement actually get reached where the NFL offers something that's much more realistic to Deshaun Watson's camp as opposed to a year-long indefinite suspension. Why would Watson take that when he could just wait and see what Robinson hands down and gambles that she's not going to go harsher than a year-long suspension or an indefinite suspension? Now, coming up, we're going to look at Mike Florio's article where he suggests or he offers up a prediction of 2 to 8 games for Deshaun Watson. We've seen numbers tossed around, and let's be honest, no one knows. I don't know. I'm not standing up here telling you guys the gospel of it's going to be 2, it's going to be 4, it's going to be 8, but we're seeing the numbers begin to slide down from 12 to 10 to 8. Now we're all the way falling to 2. I've yet to see anyone report 2. Now, before we jump into that, I saw the stupidest tweet yesterday, and I thought everyone should see it so we can all I don't even know what to think of the Steeler fan base for trying to spin zone their way out of them not acting like Deshaun Watson was their number 1 candidate as a quarterback this offseason. Had Deshaun Watson been a Steelers fan, he would have been suspended for a full season already. Oh, yeah, because the NFL takes it so hard on the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you hate the Steelers, just type FPIT. This has nothing to do with Watson. Just, we can all be a nice little Browns community here and agree on one thing. Fuck the Steelers. All right, let's get into the Deshaun Watson news here. So the new Pro Football Talk article suggests Watson could be looking at a 2 to 8 game suspension. Now, Florio in his article also says that he has a source saying a 1-year suspension is unlikely. Now, the NFLPA is pushing for a lack of accountability on the owners in the personal conduct policy. And if you remember last week, we talked and we actually read straight from the personal conduct policy, and we'll look at it again. But the NFLPA has a good argument here. But here's Mike Florio's words exactly. As one source who has reviewed the material submitted last week by the parties to Judge Sue L. Robinson told Pro Football Talk on Monday, the final punishment most likely won't be 1 year. The currently expected range is 2 to 8 games. First time I've seen anyone with a big J blue check mark next to their name say 2 when it comes to a potential Deshaun Watson suspension. It's starting to feel closer to 4 games now. And like I said a moment ago, I don't know the resolution of this. If anyone does tell you they know the resolution of this, they're full of it because we're all waiting to see what Sue Robinson does. But when you start to get reports out and the number starts to slide from year-long, some people thought initially he'll never play football again. We've gone way far from there. From a year to 12 games to 8 to 6 and to 4, and now I'm seeing the number 2 out there. I mean, it feels like a slippery slope of what this really could land on. Now, we've got more from Mike Florio to get to in just a moment, but I want to tell everyone about our sponsor today, which is Rumble. If you don't know what Rumble is, it's another video platform service similar to YouTube. But a really cool feature that Rumble offers everyone is you can do audio only. So what does that mean? If you want to watch our video, but also go text, check Twitter, do what else you want to do on your phone, you can do that over at Rumble with no premium subscription. So check us out, rumble.com/Browns Report. Links in the comments and the description of the show. Look at this interesting quote from Mike Florio's latest article. One of the strongest arguments on Watson's behalf comes from the plain language of the policy. Ownership and club or league management have traditionally been held to a higher standard and will be subject to more significant discipline. Look over that one more time. Ownership and club. Ownership, okay? Now we can bring it back over here. You're telling me the NFL owners are supposed to be held and traditionally been held to a higher standard of the personal conduct policy? I call BS on that. Because we're going to look at some NFL owners in just a second here where they have not been held to the same standard or a higher standard than the players. But if we had to do the over-under game, because Marshall, our producer as always, was talking to me about the show about, well, if you're seeing 2 games, like where would you set the line at? And I'd say about 5.5 games. So if Watson does get suspended, you think it'll be over or under 5.5 games? I'm curious what the dog pound thinks, so let me know, guys, down in the comments section. Let's run through some NFL owners, shall we? How about Jerry Jones when the Cowboys paid $2.4 million to settle a cheerleader's allegations against senior team executives. We had some peeping Toms going on. And what does Jerry Jones do? He sweeps it under the rug like he's done time and time again. That's just one of many Jerry Jones, we'll call allegations and feuds or whatnot, where he got off scot-free. What about Dan Snyder? We'll keep it in the division, right? You don't even have to go that far, where you got the current Washington Commanders owner hanging out on his yacht in the Mediterranean. Shout out Below Deck, great show. But avoiding a subpoena from a 10-plus-year-old sexual allegation assault coming his way, where he allegedly paid off someone and had an NDA signed and said, we're never going to hear from you again. And what happened? Nothing ever happened to Snyder. But yet again, we're told owners should be held to a higher standard than players. What about most recently maybe? Robert Kraft. When he went down to Florida before the AFC Championship game and stopped in a massage parlor and left with more than a nicely unknotted back, yeah, nothing ever happened to Kraft. And the NFL admitted in their case with Robinson, we did an investigation. We decided not to put any discipline down. But their own rules say the owners should be held to a higher standard. My big question is, will the judge, Sue Robinson, just call it even? Will she look at all the things the owners have done and have never been punished for and decide, well, let's just call it even. Nothing's going to happen to Deshaun Watson because you guys don't even hold your owners, like you said you would, to the same rules in the personal conduct policy? Or will she go, hey, I'm sorry that in the past you guys did not uphold everyone in the league to the rules you set out, but that's not going to change the way I'm going to look over this case. So that's my big question and takeaway. Now, before we wrap up today's show, we recently crossed over 10,000 subscribers. So if you're watching this video and you're coming across it for the first time wondering, what are we going to do next? Well, we're going to outline 10 reasons going day by day as to why the Browns will win the AFC North. So we're on day number 3 of this expedition. And reason number, I guess we'll call it 8, right? 10, 9, 8, counting down. Deshaun Watson will inherit a winning record when he starts to play, if he is suspended at all. And if he's not suspended, they're going to start off 1-0, so we'll call it a winning record regardless. But just look at the Browns' schedule this year. Let's say you want to call it a 4-game suspension for Watson. I think they can be 3-1 when you play the Panthers, Jets, Steelers, and Falcons. You can find 3 wins right there. Let's say you want to call it a 6-game suspension. Fine by me. Jacoby Brissett, with one of the best defenses and one of the best overall rosters in the NFL, yeah, he can muster up 4 wins when you toss in the Chargers. Great team, but the Patriots, who I think moved backwards, not forward this offseason. Or if you wanted to say, hey, Matthew, it's going to be an 8-game suspension. Sure, Ravens and Bengals are not going to be easy outs, but again, I look at this defense. You're telling me this defense, which, by the way, picked off Lamar Jackson 4 times last year at M&T Bank Stadium, can't find a way to win with better quarterback play this year? I call BS. Now, if you look at the whole Browns schedule, which game are you looking forward to the most? Was it one of the first 10 games, or could it be the Saints, for example, on Christmas Eve? I'm curious which game you're looking forward to the most. Could be like, say, the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. That's going to be a good one. Bengals on Halloween. There's a lot of great games. I want to know which one you're looking forward to the most. All right, guys, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Let me know what you thought of it by following me over on Twitter at Matthew Petey. Talk about the Browns, talk about the NFL, so hit me up over there.